On May 10th, 2001, after performing an honoring for the Ancient Ones on Bell Rock in Sedona, Arizona, as I came down the trail, a group of female Native women approached me and they asked me for a moment to speak with them. I was completely surprised but honored, so I absolutely agreed. They began by telling me they had been following my honorings for across the globe for several years, which surprised me. For several years? Well, I thanked them and asked them why they had been following my efforts. I assumed they had first learned about me because I had performed an honoring on the top of the Great Pyramid exactly 2 years before that day. But they said they had actually become aware of my efforts in the early 90s, 93 and 94. Turns out in 93 and 94, I had been giving talks, lectures, and performances around the globe, but especially in the United States, in which I talked about Nangasohu, the blue star Kachina of the Hopi. There was a long ago story about a star being, a blue star being, who had a very, very long star tail. And one day, Nangasohu would appear, and the Hopi would be restored to their proper place. Well, turned out that in 1995, two astronomers, a Mr. Hale and a Mr. Bopp, announced their discovery of a blue star with a long tail, a comet, and it was going to appear in the United States at the end of 95 and in 96. On March the 22nd in 1996, Hale-Bopp comet, the long blue star Nangasohu, appeared at its closest to Earth. It was amazing. The streaking comet had a long flowing blue tail. It was spectacular. So these Native women had apparently heard of and had been following my efforts since that time. So now, I am not a shaman. I make no claim to any exceptional supernatural abilities, but it appeared some of the honorings I had performed seemed to coincide with some ancient prophecies and or ancient wisdom stories. So I have always said, and will continue to say, that any links between my honorings and these ancient wisdom stories is a coincidence. However, these Native women were so concerned and so certain that I decided I would go ahead and I would listen. Well, we ended our conversation at that time, but we met several more times in the next few days. Eventually, those few days turned into several years. I learned from these women the most incredible things, the most amazing things, but especially about a group of shamanist women who have sisterhoods across the globe. And they wanted me to join with them, to work with them. There are several Udugan shamanist women groups in the world. But because of time and distance, the loss of elders, and natural disasters, these groups had lost connections, no contacts with each other. All of them held firmly to the star wisdom they had, but they did not know, they did not have what the other groups had. In fact, individuals claiming to be researchers had approached them. But when they printed what they discovered, it was an alteration. It was a fabrication. It was not what the elders had started to share with them. So these independent researchers soured the feelings of the Udugan shamanist women, and they said, okay, no more. No more independent researchers. Well, my honoring in Egypt provided the opportunity for two groups of Udugan shamanist women to make contact with each other. This then gave them the idea of using me and my travels around the globe to help bring these shamanist women, these shamanist sisters together. If they could come together, they could share what they each knew, what they each possessed, and learn from each other. And they were asking me to help them and join them. What an incredible honor they were presenting me. Of course, I would absolutely want to work with them, absolutely want to help them. So, over the years, the last 10 plus years, in working with these Native women elders and some groups from across the seas, we discovered wisdom that even they didn't know about. We have learned from each group, and we have discovered new perceptions when you put their pieces together. And so by joining together, old wisdom, lost wisdom was recovered, but so too were hints and clues to ancient wisdom that had yet to be uncovered, never been revealed. By joining the old, we were led to the new. Recently, I released some thoughts on what I think is an important story about God and creation. Yes, I had considered challenging the creation story for a long time, but I wasn't sure I should post my thoughts. However, with the support and encouragement of my elders, and with the circumstances of the globe yelling and screaming in my ears, I posted my thoughts on the creation mess up, which has now resulted in thoughts I had never considered before. Because he is the God of love, what did the word love mean, and where did it come from? And what about life? He's the God of life. Well, I posted my thoughts on love and life recently. I hope you've had a chance to take a look, take a listen. But I have to tell you, it can be somewhat disheartening. The concept of I love you, you're mine, conveys ownership, conveys that you have been obtained and you are owned. Now again, let me stress, these are not my interpretations of the words love and life and desire. These are the efforts of linguistic scholars who have presented dictionaries with their thoughts in print. They were the ones that came up with love, life, and desire as meaning possession, obtaining, and controlling, not me. So the idea of the words I love you, I've lost a great deal of respect for what they mean because of the hidden underlying concepts. So I've presented my elders with the following thoughts. I have told people that I care for, I love you. But now, when I look at what the word love, where it comes from, whoa, dude, I just I don't want to say those words anymore. So I've discussed with the elders if it is okay to use the word te amo. Now, some of you who may know some Latin realize that te amo is a classic Latin, Spanish way of saying I love you. But you're not using the love, lube, underlying root. I am using the word amo, which in the old Udugan Proto-Altaic language means soul and life and spirit. Te amo means I want to share my soul, my life, and my spirit with you. I want to share. Yes, I hope we become one. But we do not own each other. We do not possess each other. So better, much better. The Udugan elders have agreed with me. We are going to say te amo instead of I love you. That is, of course, for us. I understand if the rest of the world still says I love you. But the Udugan elders and I are just going to use te amo instead. Okay, well, thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening. Please, please take care. The world out there just doesn't seem right to me. But that's just me. Please take care. Robert Morningsky at robertmorningsky.com. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again.